Today I want to share with you how I deal with frozen shoulder or adhesive capsulitis that I have. I had it for about 6 years now, and it came to me about when I was in 50. And for that reason in Korea, we call that a 50s shoulder because right about age 50, you start having the shoulder pains. And I've tried everything. I tried the exercise, I tried the stretching, and nothing seems to be working for me. In fact, a lot of it made it worse where I wasn't able to move my arm for a couple of days, even for maybe a week or so. But doing all that trial and error, I did find one thing that worked out for me really well. So I want to share that with you. And also I want to share with you how to live with the frozen shoulder. You just have to kind of avoid certain things and try not to irritate it. First of all, I want to let you know, even though I am a plastic surgeon, I'm not trained or qualified in this field of specialty. So I'm just sharing something that worked for me, and I'm just hoping this will work for you as well. Just when I was about 51, after having a tight surgery schedule, I came home and I fell asleep, and I don't know why, but I had my arm over my head like this and fell asleep. And around 2 or 3 a.m., I woke up in a cold sweat. I was in such a pain, and my arm was frozen up here. I couldn't do anything. I was in such a pain. So I had to use my left hand to bring it down, and the pain just wasn't going away. So I ended up in emergency room. So first don't is never fall asleep with your hand over your head. Now let's imagine this is in the car. Now whenever you need something, you want to leave the stuff on the passenger side seat. So if you need it, you could reach in and grab it. Now, one thing you don't want to do is put the stuff behind you, because a lot of times, I used to do this, when I get in the car, it's so much easier to put stuff behind me. And then later, if I need a jacket, if I need something, I tend to reach back and then try to grab it. Now, turning around and having your hand extended all the way, forcing it, trying to grab something, could really be painful. And if you do it the wrong way, the pain could stay with you for weeks. So always leave your stuff next to you, or if you have somebody sitting next to you, you want to leave it behind the passenger side seat. That way, you don't have to hyperextend. You could just reach back and grab what you need. And also, when you turn, you want to turn your body and then grab. We're so used to using our dominant side. So when you take your shirt off, I'm used to grabbing it with my right hand and pulling it up. Now that could have pain. I could feel the pain right now, just a little bit. So what you want to do is you always want to use your left hand and grab it and pull it up and take your shirt off. And even when you put it back on, you want to put your left hand in first and then put your right hand. And then when you're trying to pull it down, you want to pull it down with your left hand first and then pull the shirt down. When you're in a hurry, you want to put on a jacket. I was used to putting my hand and then going around like this and then wearing it. Just like that. I'm doing a little stroke because I don't want to hurt my shoulder. But that can be no. Okay, so when you put even taking it off, what you want to do is you want to hyperextend your left hand and hold the right hand sleeve or the side that hurts, and then pull it off, and then do that. That way, you're not irritating your bad side. So when I put the jacket on now, what I do is I put my right hand into the sleeve first, and then reach back with my left hand, and then do this. That way, you're not irritating your right shoulder. At first, it was frustrating because I was so used to my dominant side, but after getting used to it, it just becomes second nature. Now, one thing that really frustrated me, and one of the biggest no-no, is playing ball with your kids. When my kids were in junior high school and high school, I was really angry that I wasn't able to play baseball or football or basketball with them. And even though when my shoulder was gotten better, and if I throw 10 balls or whatever, the pain comes back. Okay, now I want to talk about the only stretch exercise that actually gave me relief from the pain and gave my range of motion back. Now, for some reason, if I have my hand extended and try to pull back, this extension caused pain and it didn't help my shoulder. But if I have my elbow bent at 90 degrees or so and then pull back, at first I couldn't go beyond this. I was in pain. And then just keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. And I know, you might have a little bit of pain or even more than a little bit, but just keep pushing to the point where you have to stop. And keep pushing it for about 20 seconds. Hold it for about 20 seconds. And then after 20 seconds, you let it go. And then you're gonna feel a little bit of warmth here. You're gonna feel a little bit of heat. And then surprisingly, after about 2-3 hours later, you're gonna feel a little bit of relief, okay? Now, I don't just do this angle, but then I do a little bit higher angle, straight angle, and a little bit lower angle. So I do 3 different angles. And now, one of the yoga, this I should do on the floor, but I'm just gonna give you a demonstration. That really made my shoulder a lot worse, was that having my hands stretched out, and then putting my head down, and then trying to use my body weight to push it down so that my arm will go over my head. And my wife is big in yoga, and I held that there for like 20-30 seconds, and oh my God, the pain, I was out of my shoulder for about a week or so. And I know my wife says like, honey, you're not doing it right, all that stuff, but then, as I mentioned, I'm just telling you what works for me and what doesn't work for me. And sometimes it's very frustrating because people who doesn't have a frozen shoulder doesn't understand what limitation that I have. So I really believe, even though you're getting different therapies and exercise and so on and on, you really have to kind of protect yourself because everybody's different. If something hurts more, aggravates more, you don't want to do that. I've seen people saying like, when you hear pop, it's good for you because, it's freeing up your shoulder. For me, if I have a pop and if I continue hearing pops, I was out of my shoulder for about a week or so. And I really believe this, when you hear a pop, something is not being smooth, is popping something. It's like, it's hurting. So when you repeat the same pop over and over again, it's going to cause inflammation. And inflammation means it's going to swell inside, you're going to have a limitation, you're going to have a pain, and then you're not going to be able to use the shoulder until that inflammation goes down. After I have the frozen shoulder, I started having a problem with weight training. Now, one thing that really bothered me was bench press. Now, before I used to have my chair set lower so I could have this angle. So because when you have a little bit higher, you have the definition up here, okay? But I realized after having a frozen shoulder, having a little high and trying to push it, I started having the pressure and pain on my right shoulder. So I actually raised my seat higher, so I'm actually going a little bit lower than my usual. I start having problem when I'm holding it wide. So if I'm holding it wide and if I'm pushing it, I could already feel a little bit of pain on my right. Okay, so I stopped holding it wide, and then instead I'm holding it narrow now. And then here, I don't have any pain, and I go real slow. Now before, when I was weight trained, when I learned how to weight train when I was in high school, they told us to do the weight that I could do 10 reps. But having pain now, and not only my shoulder, but my tendons and my joints, I'm getting old, and it's not so much I don't have the strength anymore, it's my joints and tendons that's having a problem. So now what I do is I set the weight where I could do 20 reps and doing it really slow instead of doing it fast. So I'm not here to increase my bulk, not anymore. I just want to maintain what I have. So hold it a little bit narrow, set back, and then push it real slow where you don't have any pain. And then you pull it back down slow, because one thing I noticed is that if I do it fast, I start having pain. I'm gonna show you the whole boring my workout routine. I'm just gonna show you the ones that I had to adjust for my shoulder. Now for my tricep, I used to do this. But then, I don't know if you heard that, but there's a pop there. but then that started hurting my shoulder as well. So for my tricep, I don't go over my head anymore. But then this is what I do. Again, you want to set the weight where you could do it slowly for 20 times, okay? So, and even with that weight, if I try to push it down from here, I have shoulder pain. That I know. So now what I do is I grab it like this and I bend my knee and put it down, and then I extend my knee so it's right here. And from here, if I feel a bit pain on my right shoulder, I'll release it and then hold it down again and then lean forward and then push it down. And go slowly and come up slowly. And I try not to go above 90 degrees because if I go above 90 degrees, not only that I have a shoulder pain, but I have elbow pain as well. So what do you do, right? You're getting older. So right before 90 degrees, I go back down. Come up slowly, go back down slowly. My bicep curl. I used to do this or do this. Now the problem is, trying to do this here, I have to have my hands going away from my body and then trying to do the curl. Now that causes problem to my shoulder. So have your elbow against your leg and then grab the dumbbell bar and go slowly up. By doing this, you're not putting any pressure on your shoulder at all. There's no pain, there's no strain. You're only using your bicep. And to summarize it, avoid things that hurt and that cause popping noise. You want to stay within the limit, but then you want to get your range of motion back. And for me, only stretching exercise that worked for me was to have your hand bend and push it back. Push it back, 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 back. And right there's a pain, you stay there for 20 seconds, but you're still putting pressure on it. Now, I'm not using any kind of like a wall or anything to overextend it, but just using your own strength for 20 seconds and then come back down.